Welcome, students. Let us learn a lesson in English called Connecting the Dots, Part 1 by Steve Jobs, a very interesting personality. The full name of Steve Jobs was Stephen Paul Jobs. He was born on 24 February 1955 in San Francisco, California, United States, to Abdul Fattah Jandali and Joanne Schibel, and was adopted by Paul and Clara Jobs, who were American and unable to have children. It is said that Steve had learned technology from his adopted father Paul and business techniques from his biological father. It is said to be hereditary, which was in his blood, as Paul was a machinist and Clara an accountant. When Steve was 5, the family moved to Mountain View, California, where Steve went to school and grew up. One of the Steve's favorite hobbies growing up was working with electronics in his garage with his dad. They would take apart electronics like radios and then put them back together. Steve was a smart student but got bored with school. He often played pranks on others, getting into trouble. When he was 13, Jobs met 18 years old Steve Wozniak. Wozniak was also into electronics and two became friends. After high school, Jobs attended Reed College in Oregon. However, he found the classes boring and soon dropped out, taking a job with video game maker Atari. The original Atari Inc., founded in Sunnyvale, California in 1972 by Nolan Bushnell and Ted Debney, was a pioneer in arcade games, is a coin-operated game machine. Home video game consoles is a video game device that is used by home gamers and home computers, that is personal computer. Jobs became more and more interested in philosophy. He quit his job and took a trip to India to find enlightenment. He spent 7 months traveling around India and studying the religion of Zen Buddhism. Zen is a school of Mahayana Buddhism that originated in China during the Tang dynasty, also known as Chang School. Zen is the Japanese translation of the Chinese word Chan, which is the Chinese word for dhyana, means meditation. Upon his return to California, he went back to work for Atari. Do you know how Apple emerged? Jobs began hanging out with Steve Wozniak again, and the two of them were very interested in computers. Wozniak wanted his own personal computer, and being the electronic genius he was, he invented his own computer. Jobs was impressed. He said that they should start their own company selling the computer, and Wozniak agreed. In 1976, they formed the company Apple and called their first computer the Apple I. They began making the computers in Jobs' garage. The company quickly grew and went public just 4 years after it started in 1980. Eventually, he emerged as an entrepreneur, means a person who set up a business. Business magnate means business tycoon. Inventor and industrial designer means product designer, visualizing, creating, and making things we use. Specifically, they blend art, business, and engineering to add values to our lives and humanize the objects, processes, services, and systems used every day by consumers like mobile phones, etc. He was the chairman, chief executive officer, and co founder of Apple Inc. He is widely recognized as one of the pioneers of the microcomputer revolution of 1970s and 1980s. As in 1970s and 1980s, the size of computer was big and there was no name mark of laptop in those days. And at that time, a revolution was going on to make computer from big size to small. he played major role in it so that people can buy it nicely, handle it easily and comfortably, and use it. Steve Jobs died in Palo Alto on 5 October 2011 at the age of 56 after battling pancreatic cancer for nearly. This lesson is actually a speech given by Steve Jobs at Stanford University on the commencement day. The goal of Steve Jobs' speech was to persuade the graduates to find the jobs that they can truly love because of the passion for the definite activities. The tone is saddening, and the readers feel sympathy towards Jobs, especially as he talks about when he just began his career and was fired from his own company. The tone then turns cheerful, uplifting, and inspiring when he is rehired by Apple and speaks of the outstanding accomplishment he achieved. Connecting the dots means to understand one's past to know how to put past decisions into context. Everybody has dreams, and everyone tries to make them come true. In the process of pursuing a dream, is sometimes the case that decisions are made that don't turn out to be so productive. And this lesson contains three stories of his life. Now, let us start the lesson by listening to the passage. Here, the speech of Steve Jobs starts. Today, I want to tell you three stories from my life. That's it. Just three stories. The first story is about connecting the dots. I dropped out of Reed College after the first 6 months, but then stayed around as a drop in for another 18 months before I really quit. Looking back, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. I could stop taking the required classes that didn't interest me and begin dropping in on the ones that looked interesting. I didn't have a dorm room, so I slept on the floor in friends' rooms. I returned Coke bottles for 5-cent deposits to buy food with, and I would walk 7 miles across town every Sunday night to get one good meal a week at the Hare Krishna temple. I loved it, and much of what I stumbled into by following my curiosity and intuition turned out to be priceless later on. Here's one example. Reed College offered perhaps the best calligraphy instruction in the country. Because I had to take a calligraphy class, I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces, about what makes great typography great. 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me. And we designed it all into the Mac. If I had never dropped in on that course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces, or for that matter, even proper-faced fonts. And since Windows just copied Mac, it's likely no personal computer would have them. Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college, but it was very clear looking backwards 10 years later. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So, you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in some things: your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life. Steve Jobs said that he wanted to tell three stories from his life, only three stories. And the first story was about connecting the dots. You can see the picture of Reed College on the slide. Now, here his parents admitted him to complete his graduation, but he studied only 6 months nicely, regularly attended the lectures, and after 6 months he left the college or discontinued, means dropped out. And for the next 18 months, he was just coming and going to the college like drop in. After this, that is, after 24 months, means 6 months of regular college and 18 months as a drop in, he completely discontinued or quitted the college, did not complete his education. He said that when he looked in the past, it was one of the best decisions he had ever made. He meant that for 6 months he attended the college regularly, where he had to study everything, all the subjects, those subjects also in which he didn't has any interest. Okay, so he decided that he will not sit in the class or lecture in which he didn't has any interest. For example, you have to study the subjects like English, Hindi, Marathi, Science 1, Science 2, Maths 1, Maths 2, History, Geography. And suppose I am saying, you just think, okay, that you don't like any one of the subject, but you have to study as it is compulsory in 10th standard. So it is just the same way. He had to study all the subjects, including the subjects he didn't like and was not interested in. Because of this, he dropped out the college, left the college, and next 18 months he attended only those lectures or classes in which he was interested. Means he did not take or attend the class which did not interest him and started attending the class which he felt interesting. Let us see what was the benefit of this. He continued with his story. So, children, when he left the college after 6 months and was coming occasionally to the college, so the dorm room which was allotted to him was taken back, as he was staying in hostel. When you leave the college, you have to wake in the room. You have to give it back, as he was coming to college occasionally to attend the class of his interest, but had no place to reside. Now he had to stay somewhere or the other. So in the college he had some friends, and he lived in the rooms or dorms of his friends. You can see the hostel rooms or America on the slide, which is given to the students to sleep and rest. Steve Jobs used to sleep on the floor in the room of his friend, but every night he used to sleep in different friends' room. As he had many friends, this continued for 18 months. Now, how he spent 18 months in the hostel. Let us listen to it. As he used to sleep on the floor in different friends' room. Apart from that, he used to return Coke bottles to the shopkeeper, as the students there used to drink a lot of Coke, and he collected all the empty bottles and returned to the shopkeeper, got 5 cents. Here in India too, when you return empty glass bottle of cold drink, you get some money. In the same way, Steve Jobs earned or got some money, that is 5 cents. Cent is 1% of US dollar. To eat something to fill his stomach. What will he have with this amount? So just because of this, every Sunday night in America, he walks 7 miles. There are huge temples of Hare Krishna, Lord Krishna. In fact, the biggest holy celebration can be seen here in this temple. You get food, like there is banquet and you have to serve. You can call it as Bhoj, for which there is no money charged. It is just for the service of mankind. So, Steve Jobs also on Sunday used to walk from one city to another, that is 7 miles, where this temple is situated, for this tasty food, that too, only one time a week. Is remembering those days. Just imagine. Drop out of the college, attended few classes in the college, slept on the floor in the friend's room, by returning bottles, got money. What will you eat with that money? Maggie? How long will you eat it? And then on Sunday, you get delicious food. Who will wait? He had mentioned that he traveled 7 miles on foot only for one good meal in a week, and he loved it. He later said that as he moved ahead in life, he stumbled, means fell into. It means learn something in life, like the course of calligraphy. Why did he learn it? Because he had curiosity and intuition, means his instinct told him to do the course. Then he stumbled in the course, and the things which he learned later on turned priceless. It turned to be fruitful. He also gives example of his college. Reed College had offered or started the course of calligraphy. Calligraphy is the art of writing letters, words in a decorative style by hand and with some writing tools like metallic nib, plume, end of a feather, brush. As this course was offered in the college and perhaps was the best course in America. And as he joined this course during those 18 months when he used to go for classes in which he had interest, he learned serif and sans serif typefaces, through which he understood that later on typography can be done in a better way. What is serif and sans serif typeface? Let me tell you. In typography means appearance of printed letter. A serif is a small line or stroke regularly a larger stroke in a letter. Look at the letter F on the slide where you can see red circles. That is serif font, letter F. And sans serif means that does not include those lines. See the other letter F beside. That is sans serif. Sans means no lines. These type of fonts or typefaces we can also find in computer, like Antiqua, Cooper Black are some names of serif typeface, and Arial Black, Arial Narrow are some names of sans serif typeface. What is good typography? It involves technology. It is a technique, not an art. People call it as art, but it is not. What is taught in the technique of typography? Basically, it is that your message through words or letters should be clear. For that, you have to arrange words or letters properly in printed or digital form. It stresses on clarity of message. You can see, for example, the map of India on the slide with the names of states in it, arranged properly, nicely. What he tried to tell is he learned calligraphy. In calligraphy, he learned serif and sans serif. And through this, he learned how typography can become a good typography. Now, let us see how this course of calligraphy became priceless for. The story continued. He said that 10 years later, means after learning or completing the calligraphy course, learning serif and sans serif, he understood what is good typography. Then, 10 years later, when he was designing his computer named Macintosh computer, he remembered everything he learned. That is calligraphy, serif, sans serif, good typography, all came in his mind and he put all what he learned into Mac. All the functions of typography, all typefaces he installed in his computer Mac. That is Macintosh computer. So that if anyone wants to use various typefaces, can use. If anyone wants to make any typography, can do as it is available in computer. He further said that if he would have not done the course of calligraphy in his college, then in his Mac computer, all types of fonts wouldn't be in it. We would not be able to write or type in one style, as he had learned in calligraphy, so he had put various typefaces in designs and even proportionally spaced fonts. As you see on the slide, the gap between the letter A and B and C and D. Today we don't realize this because it is already designed in computer. As you can see the gap between A and B. Is it looking good? No, it is not. This is what he said. Automatically computer gives us proper space between the letter. It is programmed and only then the computer can display letter with proper spacing. Write words, letters in a beautiful way. Proper space between letters. All this he had studied in his course and programmed in his computer. You can see Macintosh computer, which was small in size at that time, with various fonts and functions, and with mouse and many more things. So Steve Jobs' computer was amazing. Now, almost all the computers use Windows software made by Microsoft company. Maximum computers have software of Microsoft owned by Bill Gates. Very few people have Apple computer. Once, when Macintosh was being designed, Steve Jobs asked Bill Gates' company to help for improvement in Macintosh software. He contacted Bill Gates. It is said that Bill Gates saw all the features and functions of Macintosh and copied in Windows, which he released later on. And today, Windows is used in every computer. When you see the computer of Apple Macintosh, the font style will be the same. Like both have Arial font, Arial black font, Arial narrow font, and so on. All the Apple products like Apple computers use their own software. They have their own operating system. Most of the computer use Windows. Even my laptop uses Windows software. All Apple iPod, iPhone, iPad use their own software. Here, Steve Jobs wanted to say that Bill Gates had copied his software. Steve Jobs said that if he would had not installed the typefaces or fonts in his computer and Bill Gates would had not copied, then how the world would use such beautiful fonts in computer as most of the computers have Microsoft Windows. He said that Windows, that is Microsoft company, didn't think of them. They just copied Apple. Now, he was ending his first story that when he was in college, the after 6 months he dropped, then he attended calligraphy class in that months was one which he liked to attend. There were many classes of his interest which he attended. Then, after 10 years, he made his computer and he installed everything that he learned during the course of calligraphy. And he asked Bill Gates to improve his computer software. And Bill Gates copied most of his computer software. And now all the computer have the things which he invented. He meant that when he was learning these things, he did not know that there would be a great impact of things. But after 10 years, when he looked back, he realized that it was these things like learning calligraphy helped him in building his future. For example, today, if you are learning to swim, and suppose after 10 years you are traveling by boat and it drowns, you can save your life as you know swimming. Knowledge never goes waste. Same is the case with Steve Jobs. This is how he connected the dots of past to his future. See students, the things you have learned in past will somewhere in your life helps you to build or create your future. While learning, you don't realize its importance, but later on you realize it. You understand its relevance. When you are in a situation or any incident like you or we are now in coronavirus situation, you won't understand what will be its benefit when you will move ahead in future. That time you will realize by looking in past that what had happened was actually good. He wanted to say that whatever incident takes place in your life, trust those incidents, that in future it will help you in some or the other way. You have to trust whether It is your gut, your life, your destiny, your karma, whatever. But you will get benefit in future. He further said that whatever had happened in his life, any incident, event, whatever, he took it in a positive way, thinking that it held some good in it. And this approach never ever let him down and brought a big change in his life. Means everything happens for a reason, whether for good or bad. Life will eventually work itself out for you. It can be also said, as much as we try to plan our lives ahead in advance, there's always something completely unpredictable about life. What seems like bitter, anguish, defeat in the moment can turn out to sow seeds of unimaginable success years from now. You cannot be too attached to how you think your life is supposed to work out, and instead trust that all the dots will be connected in the future. This is all part of plan. As you cannot connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backwards. So, you have to trust the dots will somehow connect your future. In short, have patience and trust. Whatever is happening for your own good. Trust in the process, and eventually things will work for you in an incredible way. This evaluation section is based on the above video lesson. Question number 1 is a web diagram. You can find the answer for this at last in the video lesson or second paragraph on page number 63. For question number 2, you have to frame sentence on your own, but should be in proper structure, means sentence formation should be proper. The answer for the first question you will find somewhere in the second paragraph in your textbook, or listen to the video lesson carefully. You will find after the good meal of Hare Krishna temple. For the second one, you will get the answer in the beginning of the lesson. For the third one, you have to listen the video lesson very attentively. The answer is somewhere connected with the making of Macintosh computer with its unique feature of writing style. For the fourth one, you will find it in the starting but not in the very beginning, where you can find words like floor, walking 7 miles, and now you can frame the answer. For question number 3, you have to read the directions properly, comprehend it, and then write. For the first one, you have to recognize the part of speech of the underlined word. There are 8 parts of speech in English, like noun, pronoun, adjective, preposition, adverb, verb, conjunction, and interjection. Now, you have to state the part of speech for the underlined word from the above mentioned parts of speech. For the second one, you should know the modal auxiliaries and their function. Here, mood means function. For the third one, you have to elaborate the words by writing its full form. For the fourth one, you have to match the words in column A with their meanings given in column B. Question 4 is a personal response. You have to think deeply and write. For this, you have to look into your past and then connect with your present. Question number 5 is writing skill. You have to write 2 application letters but on different subject. The first application is in response to news item for job. You have to follow the format of formal letter. That is, intended form means everything should start from the margin. It should touch the margin. Leave a line after every paragraph in the body of the letter and attach your CV, resume as asked. Here, you have to write your resume, which consists your name, age, educational qualification. This You can write as per the question asked. Then experience means job experience, special interest, and contact information like contact number. For the second letter, you have to request your HR. HR stands for Human Resource Department, which deals with people management, recruitment, hiring, training, and so on. They are responsible for all things worker related. To sanction your leave, as you have to undergo for urgent surgery. Here, also follow the format of formal letter strictly. In subject, mention the date from when you want to leave. For example, from 4th September to 10th September. Thank you for listening. I will be coming soon with the second part of the lesson. Till then, stay tuned.